Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have a fun looking puzzle here. This has some interesting grouping of constraints, I would say. It's also by a setter who I've not done a puzzle before, so I always enjoy doing that. So with that said, let's take a look at this thing, see what's going on. So it's called Dutch Dots, and you can see why it's called that, by ChinStrap. Again, I haven't done a puzzle by ChinStrap before, so I'm hoping for great things here. So let's check the rules. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Every row, every column, every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. We've got black Kropki dots, so digits separated by a black dot are in a 2-to-1 ratio, and not all possible dots are necessarily given. So any of these black dots, the digits are in a 2-to-1 ratio, or one is double of the other. And there is no negative constraint. And then we have Dutch whisper lines. So adjacent digits on an orange Dutch whisper line must differ by at least 4. So any of these lines, these are all orange Dutch whispers. Any of these, whatever the digit on one of them, next one along the line has to be at least 4 away from it. And those are the rules. So two somewhat common rule sets. Dutch whispers shows up here and there. Black Kropkis are in a lot of puzzles. So anywho, the link will be in the description below. Let's go jump on this thing and see if we can get it figured out. So the question is going to be, as it always is, where the heck do we start first? I think we're going to need to start with some black Kropki dots. The question is, where's the best place to start? Don't know. Well, okay. What do we know about black Kropki dots? We know we can't put the digits 5, 7, and 9 on them because we cannot have or double either of those digits. Well, in this region, there's only 3 that are not from 5, 7, or 9. So therefore, they must be from 5, 7, or 9. That's a little bit of something. Now, if this was a 5, which we're going to be able to rule it out that it can't be, the 2 digits on either side of it would have to be the 1 and the 9. But we cannot put a 9 in either of these two, because we put a 5 here. One of these is our 9. So this can't be a 5, because the only 2 digits that are 4 away from a 5 are 1 and 9. So the 5 is on one of these. Which means what? Well, it means that this digit here must be 4 away from a 5. Doesn't matter which side you put the 5 on. Now, we just said the only 2 digits that can be 4 away from a 5 are 1 and 9. Well, this one can't be a 9, so it must be a 1. If that's a 1, this has to be a 2. Now then, these digits have to be 4 away from a 2. The only possibles that can also fit on black Kropkis are 6s and 8s, which means these are the 3s and the 4s to go with the black Kropkis. And if this is a 3-4 pair, this cannot be a 7, because 7 is not 4 away from 4. So this is 9. Therefore, this is the 5-7 pair. Now that we know that this is a 1-2 pair, what does it say about the rest of these? They must be from 3, 6, 4, and 8. Because again, they're on black Kropkis. The other way to look at it in this row, we could have done the row 2 as apart from the region in the same concept is, where do we put 5, 7, and 9? Well, we have to put them in these. So these are 5 and 7. Now we know that one of these digits is a 5. So therefore, whichever one it is, the other 2 digits have to be 1 and 9. Is that useful? I don't quite know off the top of my head if it is. It's going to be actually kind of similar if you think about where the 5 goes in this region, because one of these is going to have a 5 on it. So it's going to have to be in, well, it doesn't have to be in the middle, does it? But one of these is going to be a 5, so there's going to be a 1 or a 9 with it. But if you have a 5 on the end, you could go down to 1 and then go up to anything 6, 7, 8, or 9. So the only way we could determine that it was necessarily a 1-9 is if the 5 was in the middle. Now, in this instance here, that wouldn't be the case, but we can't rule it out here. What else can we say about 5s, 7s, and 9s maybe? Seeing if there's any other little bits and pieces that we could use to determine one of those. Don't know that there is, although we could say this, well, no, this could easily be a 1 or a 2. And more than likely probably is, but I wonder if there's a way to reduce what this could be by how it affects everything else, but I don't know that it can. Because it would be interesting to put, if we were to put this as being a 3, 6, 3, that would mean that, excuse me, either these, they would be both the same digit, whether they be 3s or 6s, and this would be the opposite. Now, it would force this to be a 4-8 pair, which would mean that these would have to be the 3-6 pair. But then this and this digit would just be the same. And then that digit would also go here. The problem with that is it does break the puzzle. So I think I've proven that this can't be a 3-6, and I'll explain it in the end here. If this is some form of 3-6, this cannot be a 3-6 pair because it would break this. So therefore, this is the 3-6. But if these are 3-6s, it forces this to be a 4-8 pair, and it forces this to be a 3-6 pair. But it would break again because this, we said, was the 3-6 pair. So these are not 3-6s. Let me go back and get all that. Oop, didn't mean to go that far. These are 5s and 7s. So this has to be from the 1, 2, 4, 8 grouping. What does that do? Does it do anything, really? Or 8. Trying to see how it might affect the Dutch whispers. But even if this was like a 4, 8, 4, and 8, this 4 could pair with a 9, and it could go down to whatever. Now, we can't necessarily rule out any of, or what these can be at the moment, I don't think. We know one of them is a 3-6, and one of them's a 4-8. We don't know which one's which. Just making sure everything is kosher here for a second before we start thinking about where else to look. Yeah. Don't see how these... Yeah, because a 7, if we have a 7, it goes with 1, 2, 3, whatever that may end up being. If it goes with 1, 2, 3, does that cause any problems? I guess not, because it could be any combination of those two. Now, obviously, it was a 3 that went with it. That would be great. It would solve what this is. So one of these is 1, 9. One of them is, oh no, we do know because one of these has to be 1, 9. So the other one has to be 2, 3 to go with the 7. There's no other way around it. So whichever one is of the 5 has the 1 and the 9. The 7 therefore only has 2 and 3 left, and it has to use the 2 and the 3. So these can't have 2s on them, and they can't have 3s on them. Can't have a 3 on it, can't have the 6 on it. So this ends up being a 4, 8. This cannot be 4, 8. It is a 3, 6. Okay. Now, this has to be the 3, 6 pair, because if it wasn't, it'd be a 4, 8 pair, and it would break this. So this is 3, 6. This is 4, 8. Therefore, this is not 4, 8. This cannot be 8. What else does that do for us? Well, I guess we know what this digit is, right? Because we said the 5 goes with 1, 9, the 7 goes with 2, 3. So therefore, the only thing that's left over here is a 6. And we might as well just put all this in, because we can remove a couple of little bits. 3, please. Thank you. And if that can't be a 3, these can't be a 2, because of how the 2, 3 has to work with the 7. Okay. What else do we have? 4s and 8s. So one of the 4s or the 8s has to be up here. Because one of them's going to be here, the other one's going to be up here somewhere. Does that help us any? We know that these digits all have to be 5 or higher. The only possibilities are 5, 7, and 9, because this, we have 6s and 8s. So if this is a 1, let's say, these could, like I said, they could go to 5 or 7 or 9. If it's a 2, it just has to straight up go to 7, 9. Now we know these can't be a 5, 7 pair because it would break this, so the 9 has to be here, which means these are not 9s, which means these are not 1s. Now that this is a 1, 3 pair, that forces this to be a 2. These cannot be the 5s. That's the 7, 9. This is the 5. This is the 7. Good. Let's get rid of this for a second. That now cannot be a 2. This can't be a 1. We know what up here now. We've got 5, 4, and 8. The 5, and there's one other digit, sorry, the 1. We know the 5 has to go up here somewhere. And we know the 1 has to go. The 5 can never go in the middle, because you can't get 4 away from the 5 in 2 different ways. So with the 5's on the outside, and one of the outsides, it cannot pair with 4 or 8, so the 1 has to be in the middle. And if the 1 is in the middle, the 4 cannot pair with it ever. So the 5, 8 is up here, which means this is the 4, 8, 4. That all works. This can't be 4 anymore. So it's either, oh, this one here actually just gives, this is 4. The 4 then either goes back down to a 2 or it goes up to the 8. Good. There we go. We've got that figured for the moment. Let's make sure everything's working. 1 with the 5 and 8 works. 2 with the 7 and 9 works. We can't quite figure these out just yet, but we will get there. Okay. Now what? These digits have to be from the 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 grouping, because we can't use the 4. Can we get anything out of that? This can't be a 3. This can't be an 8, because this one had to be 4 and 6 in both of those situations. Is there anything else there? This can't be 8 because this would have to be a 4. This can't be 3 or 6 because it would break this. So we're kind of whittling this down now, which is good. The 4 has to be 4 away from something. So this is either 8 or 9. Then it has to come back down again. But it could be 3 or 5. Because if it goes all the way up to 9, it could come back to the 5. If it goes up to the 8, 1, 2, and 4 are retaken, so it would have to be 3. That tells me there's a 7 in one of these two, which means there's a 9 here and a 7 here. We cannot put a 5 on... No, wait, we can. Because we could put a 5 with a 1. So if the 5 is here, it would work. Okay. So we have 2 possibilities where a 5 can go. If this is a 1 or a 2, it forces this to be a 1 or a 2. If it's a 6, this is a 3. What else do we have left out in the rain here? Oh, the 9 is just a given. If we look at Sudoku, where does it go? It has to go here. Which forces it down into one of these two. What has to go down here now? Because we have actually a lot of information in this column. 7s and 8s have to go down here. So one of these does have a 7 or an 8 on it, which means one of these has 2 low digits to go with it. If we want to follow these lines, I guess we need to. This is a 1 or a 2. This is 1, 2, or 4. And this is 8. It goes down to a 4. You could be a... Well, this can't be a 3. Or can it be a 1 or a... Yeah, it could be a 1 or a 2, but it can't be a 3. Okay. So this could be 1, 2, or 3. Because if it's a 1, 2 here, it has to be a 1, 2 pair. If it's a 3, it can go with the 6. Now, this being a 2 could easily go with the 6, and then back down to a 1. This is an 8. It goes down to 1 or 2, then back up to 6. Okay. That does... Well, we already know that 9 was down there. Is there anything else we can put out in some of these other... It seems like we're going to, because of how the clues are arranged, that we're going to be pushing out into these regions before we start moving over here. But that's just a guess. So 4... We can't quite determine on the 4, can we? I don't know that we can say much about the 5 either. And we know the 5 can't go here or here. But that's more or less it. The reason it can't go here is because these would have to be a 1, 9 pair, and there's a 9 there. What are the options here, then? Because we can't use 1, 2, or 4. We can't ever put a 3 here, because we can't put anything between it. So it has to be a high digit. Can't be 5. So it has to be from 6, 7, or 8. If it's 6, it's a 1, 2 pair. But if that doesn't work, no, maybe it does. Yeah, I guess it would work. Because if it was a 6, we'd have 1, 2 pair here to pair it with the 1, 2 pair here. So it'd be like 1, 1, 2, 2, or something along those lines. Can we do anything with the rest of these? Now, see, in this instance, we can't rule out a 3 or a 5 in the middle here. Because the 3 could go with 7s, 8s, and 9s on both sides. Well, I guess not 7s and 8s, can it? Because we already said, okay, so this can't be 3, because the 7s and 8s have to go here. We'd have to use the 9 plus one of the 7s and 8s. So this is not a 3. But it could still be 5, 6, 7, and 8, I think. Well, it probably can. Can it? Yes, it could still be a 6. Because this could be a 6. That would mean it has 1s and 2 on each side of it. These would then be 3 and 4, and it would force the 8 in the middle to be the only digit that's 4 away from 3 and 4. Okay. Whew. Now we can't necessarily, again, rule out this being a 5, 9, because this could very well be a 1. Huh. Is there something more we could have done in this middle section that I might have missed? Again, we could put a 5. I was going to say on the columns, again, we're very close on 5s, because either we have one of these two could be a 5, because this could be 5 with a 1 and then the 8. Similarly, on this column, we know 5s can't go on any of the black Kropkis, and it couldn't go here because we can never put a 1 or a 9 here, but the 5 could still go at one of those two places. So it's kind of like right on the verge of being something useful there. Now, what about this guy? Can we work anything out? We know it has to be a high digit, because again, it can't be 5 because we have to put a 1, 9. So this is from 6, 7, 8. Which means these have to be from 1, 2, 3, 4. If that does what? Again, not quite a bunch here, does it? Is there anything just straight Sudoku that I'm missing? I don't think there is, but it's not a bad time to look. The 4s seem like they're the only thing that's semi-useful, because one of these has to be a 4. Everything else, there's not quite enough information yet. Yeah, I didn't think so. This could be a 5. Could be 6, 7, or 8, either. Okay. Next step. What am I missing? It's usually just one thing that you have to be able to focus on, and sometimes it could be a bit tricky to find it. I always like to look back at my rules every now and again, just make sure I'm not missing something obvious, which can happen. Is there anything we can use with this column? I don't know that we have enough information yet to do so. I guess we know one of these has to be the 6. I don't think that helps us. So one of these is a 3. Because these couldn't be a 1-2 pair. But that doesn't correlate to much either. This is not working. Or at least I can't see what I need to see. That's the thing. Not that it doesn't work. I don't work. I'm out of order. I really don't see what this is. Where the next place is that we can get a foothold here. If this is the 3, it forces the 5 here. Which forces a 1. Which forces an 8. Which breaks the puzzle. Is that it? Is that what I'm supposed to see? Let's think about that again. Because I did think about where 5 could go, but I didn't take it that far. So if this is 3, we do have to put a 5 here because we can't put a 5 here, and obviously all these are set. So this would be 5. The 5 would have to pair with a 1 because the 9 is already here. The 1 would go here, which would break the 7 first off. And then secondly, it would force this to be an 8. And then we'd have 5 and 8 looking at this. So this has to be 5. Which means there has to be a 3-7 pair over yonder, we'll say. That means this is 6 and 3. These digits now are a bit more, excuse me, determined. So maybe we can go further with them. So we've got 6, 7s, and 8s. 5, 5, 5, 5. One of these two has to be a 5 then. Because we can't put a 5 in any of these and make these work. Is there anything else missing? That we can deal with? If this is 7, it breaks the puzzle, yeah, because this, no, it doesn't. 7 can go with the 3. I was thinking German whisper there for a second. 7 can go with the 3 and go with the 1 or a 2 here, so that doesn't break the puzzle. And if this is 3, these are 7 and 8. That makes complete sense. Thought I had something. I did not. Is it going to be something else where we need to look at, if this is 2, how does it break the puzzle? Or something like that. If this is 2, this is 6, this is 1. And this has to be 2. It is the same concept, yeah. We had to look at these specifics. That's not something I tend to look at least not right away. I'm more trying to scan and see if there's doubles or some sort of X-wing or something like that. But yeah, I probably need to do a bit more of that. And when we find out we have options down to 1 or 2 two possibilities. One possibility is given, but it's two possibilities seeing if one of those two does break the puzzle. Yeah, because if we said this is 2, sorry, this is 6 and 1, this has to be 2. So this is 8. So we know this is low, so this has to be 7, this has to be 3. The 8 then gives us our 5 and our 8. This has to be 5 by Sudoku. These are 1, 2, 4s. One of these is 4, we know that. There has to be a 3 down here to go with our 9, and either the 1 or the 2. If this is 8, this can't be 6, so that's what's going to put this as a 6. Let's get that out. This then can't be 3. Okay, there's something. Now, if we have, the 4 can always go with an 8. So one of these two is 8, which means this isn't. The other one could be either with the 6 or 7, because the 1 and the 2 go with both of those. So if this is, whichever one is the 8 has a 3, 4 pair with it. And the one with the 6 or the 7 has the 1, 2 pair with it. So this cannot be our 9. Sorry, can't be 9, which means this is 9. Make sure I'm correct there. Right? Because 9 can never go in any of these, and it can't go here because it's not 4 away from anything. Yes, that's correct. So this is 9. This can't be 6, we know that. Okay. This is from 1, 2, or 3. Well, that 6 tells us that has to be 3 then. So we've got the 1, 2 pair going on. Okay. There we go. So if this is 3, this can't be 6. That doesn't quite get us to the next step, does it? Doesn't appear to. So let's see how we might be able to branch off of this now. This 1, 2 pair means this is not 1 or 2. So if this has to be 3 or 4, this can't be 6. That doesn't correlate to anything quite there. Maybe, though, we can do something with these guys and how they may break this. So let's look here first, because we have actual digits up here. So let's take a very broad view of what can and cannot go on this son of a gun. This can't be 5 or 9. This can't be 3. Now, we can't put a 7 in the middle because it forces a 1, 2. No, it doesn't. I didn't see this 3 down here. It could be a 1, 3. That would be possible. Eight has to go with the 4 and something else. Okay. All right. Still don't think we have enough to really work with Sudoku yet. Although we do have more than we did. So, okay, that's something at least. We know one of these is a 5. Is there anything we can rule out? Not really. Because this could still very well be a 5 in the middle with a 1, 9 on these sides. And then that would figure out some of this stuff here, depending on how it worked. So that forces a 5 over here. That's about all it does. Let's do another look just to verify. Okay, so there has to be a 6 on here as well. So there has to be 5 and 6. Therefore, the 6 has to go here. The 5 has to go here. They have to be broken apart. The only digit that works with both 5 and 6 is 1. Therefore, this is 3, this is 1. That 3 is going to tell us this is 7, this is 5, this is 2, this is 9. And there we go. This is 8 because of that 7. The 8 can go with any of these. None of these can be 5s. Which limits what this can be now, right? Or does it? I guess it doesn't. Okay, let's switch gears to here. We've got 2, 7, and 9. Nope, that doesn't do much. Can't be 9, can't be 2, can't be 7. We have to have 7s and 9s over here. This can't be 7, this can't be 9. So what else? There has to be a 1 on here now, because we've got these ones, which means this, of course, is 2 and 1. That forces this to be 2. This is a 1, 4. Oop, push the wrong button again. Therefore, this is 2. Let's get rid of those. This can't be 2. Well, none of them can be 2 because of that one up there. So what we were saying was there has to be a 1 on here. The digits are 1, 3, 7, and 9. Can we... We can't. Thought we might be able to figure this out if we know one of them is a 1, but it's not quite. 5s, 9s. Okay. What else? There's something else has to be over here. A 6, which means this can't be 6. And the other digit is a 3 or a 4. So 5, 6, 3, 4. This can't be 3 or 4. This can't be 6. This can't be 5. Ugh. Thought this might go smoother than it is, but let's look at this guy. Like I said, I thought we were going to push onto this side before we got over here. I think that might be the case. We got to figure out what's going on. What is left over here? 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. That's accurate. Is there any combination here that breaks the puzzle? Like this can't be 4. That seems like it's... This can't be 2. This can't be 3. So if this is low, these are 7, 8 pairs. Otherwise, it's 2, 3s, or 4s. Okay, so there has to be a 5 and a 6 down here. This can't be 5. Twos can go with 6s. Could go back to 1. Just doesn't want to give up the goose, does it? What can this digit be? Again, we said we've got 4, 5, 6, and 9. 5s and 6s we know are here, so this is only 4 or 9. I guess again, we're probably going to have to start looking at what if this was X and see if it breaks anything along the way. Let's look at this guy first, though. Possibly 3, 4, 7, or 8. Which pushes a 2. I guess we could look at that 2s. We do have to have a 2 in one of these two. So this digit has to be the higher digit, which means these cannot be. We get a 2, 3, 4, so this has to be a high digit. These are... oh, this can't be 8, sorry. Let me just make sure I got my 2s. So 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 are all accurate. This can't be 8, so this is 7. And this then is 8. That doesn't really help us much. This one can't be 8, which means this is 8. The 4 has to go with the 8, so we can do that. This is not 1. The 4 here actually cuts over here and gives us our 2. So we end up with a 3, 4 pair now. And 7, 9, 1, 3, 7. So we know one of these is 1. So there, and we didn't know this one was until now. So one of these is 1. So this one here can't be low. So it has to be the high digit. So these have to be the 2 low digits. This is 1. This is 3. That forces 4 and 3, and 9 and 4 and 7. And then 6 and 7 will break. And now we're to the point where we can get our Sudoku done. Took a while, but we got there. Definitely had to search pretty hard to find some of these next steps. So 5, 6, and 9. That's not 6. That's not 5 or 9. That's 6. Let's get rid of these. All right, now let's transition to Sudoku, and hopefully we can figure out what needs to be where. We're getting a lot of X-wings off at the moment. But these can't be 3s anymore, so let's get rid of those. So we kind of know what these are. They're 1, 3, and 8. This is not 3, this is not 8, this is not 1. There must be something in here that's pretty much a given. Let's try to find it. Where you be? It's just a ton of X-wings. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't see anything here that's just given what's what. So let's go through all the options and see if there's maybe something out there. 1, 2, 8. This is not 1. Oh, this is not 2 or 8, so it is 1. Okay, that's probably what it's going to be then. This is 3, 1, 8. This is not 1. This is just the 2 then, 2 and 8. This should be 9, 7, 2. And I guess we're going to need to go through all these and just finalize what we've got. So we need a 3, 4, 5, and 9. This is not 3, 4, or 9, so it is the 5. This is not 3. This is not 9. These have to be what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. This is not 6 or 7. Neither of these is 9. This is not 5 or 7. It's 6. Oh, the 5 here is what I was Was that? Let me just go back real quick and make sure I didn't screw that up. Yeah. So we need it, after we got that, we have to have a 5. So this is 5, this is 9. Therefore, these are from the 6, 7, 9. This is 9, so that's 4 and 3. This is 6 and 7. And this will be 4, 5, 6. There it is. Okay, that took a bit, but we did get there eventually. Apparently this has been out there for 62 days. This must have been another one of those where the setter made it quite a while back, but didn't post it to Logic Masters Germany until fairly recently, because this, I think, was something from within the last 2 weeks, so it must be the case. Anyway, 45 minutes, not good, not bad. It was a solve. It worked out. I mean, everything worked out well. It was just trying to find the next point to make the next assertion, because you had to think about if X does Y, then Z kind of situation to see how to break it out. At least that's how I had to do it. I didn't see another way that was that worked such as that. So, anyway, really enjoyed it. It took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that's fine. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next one. Thanks a lot.